Hi parents and students. I am going to share with you the two methods we've been using for double-digit multiplication. I know that especially for parents trying to help with homework, this is probably very new to you, and so I wanted to show you the two different ways that we've been using. The first one that we've been using is called the area model. And in the area model, your child will be drawing out the problem. And in order to do that, what they're going to do is they are going to break these numbers into their place values. So 23 has 2 tens and 3 ones. And 38 has 3 tens and 8 ones. So then the easiest way to do this, and what I've been showing them and giving them in their CAMI lessons also, is graph paper. So on the graph paper, they are just going to draw a square. And obviously you can see it doesn't have to be perfect because mine is not either. And on that square, each of these boxes is going to represent where they're going to multiply these numbers that they've separated. So 23 and 38. And so then what they're going to do is they are going to multiply out these four numbers. So it would be 30 times 20, and then 30 times 3. And then the bottom would be 8 times 20, and then 8 times 3. The advantage of this over the old school method, as I like to call it, the one that I learned and many of my parents probably learned, is they can look at each of the problems individually according to place value. So when we look at this one, 30 times 20, we can see our basic fact here that our students would need to know is the 3 times 2, which is 6. And then we can see that we have 2 zeros, so I need 2 zeros in my answer. So then what I usually have my students do is come over to the side and write that first one there. Then they go to the second one. My basic fact is 3 times 3, which is 9. And 1 0, because I'm actually multiplying 30 times 3, would give me 90. I have them use the graph paper also because it helps them to line up their numbers. So down here, my basic is 8 times 2, which is 16. But I'm actually doing 8 times 20, so I need that 0 for that tens. So 160. And then 8 times 3 is 24. And then once they get those, they're going to total those all up. 9 plus 2, carrier 1, and 80. So your answer is 874. So that's the area model. The one that we've been using recently is the lattice model, which many of the students like even better than the area model. And so in the lattice model, you have 4 squares that are separated just like the area model. The only difference is that you have these lines that are diagonally splitting down the center of each box. These boxes, the way that they're split here, represent, this is going to be the tens place on top, and this is going to be the ones place on the bottom. And then your answer is actually going to come along the bottom here, where this is going to represent the ones, this is going to represent the tens, this would represent your hundreds, and this would represent your thousands. And the nice thing about this method that a lot of the students like is you just write your digits above each column and on the right side. I also have my students put a multiplication sign here, just to remind themselves that they are multiplying. This method the students like because it's just the basic facts. So in order to do this method, you are going to take your upper right-hand corner first. 3 times 3 is 9. There are no 10s in 9, so you're going to put your 0 there as a placeholder, and your answer is 9. Then top on the left, 3 times 2 is 6. I don't have any 10s again, but I do have 6 ones. And I always have my students, once they're done with the 3, cross it out. Then I'm going to come to the bottom right hand. 8 times 3 is 24, so I have 2 10s and 4 ones. Now I'm done with the 3, so I'm going to cross out the 3. 8 times 2 is 16, 100, or 1 10s, 6 ones. Now I can cross out my 8 and 2. And the reason I always have my students cross out those numbers is because this next step, when they're going to add together to get their answer, they sometimes have a habit of adding those in. And by crossing them out, hopefully it will help them to avoid that. So to look at the answer and figure out the rest of the answer, you're going to work on the diagonals. Remember, this represents our ones place, so I have 4 ones in my answer. Moving on to the 10s, I'm going to add 9 plus 2, which is 11, plus 6, which is 17. Put down the 7, and I'm going to carry my 1 because I need to move that to the 10s place. So 6 plus 1 is 8, and I do not have any thousands in this answer, so 23 times 38 is 874. So hopefully that clears up any confusion you may be having, and this also will help the students if they need to refresh how they should be doing these methods. I hope this helps.